You cannot preach water and drink wine. It is important that if parties want to demand justice nationally, which they must at elections, they must demonstrate that within their own structures, they are committed to the same ideals that they propose for all Kenyans.
The chairman of the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal, Kyalo Mbobu, says the ruling made by the tribunal are binding to both political parties and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, unless, of course, they're challenged and quashed by the High Court. Mbobu has warned that any political party that defies the tribunal's ruling will be in contempt of court and will face sanctions from IEBC. And as our senior political reporter Patrick Amimo now reports, the tribunal has been burning midnight oil to hear and determine various petitions arising from symbolic party primaries.
The Political Parties Dispute Tribunal is an independent quasi-judicial body with powers to fairly and expeditiously resolve disputes arising from political parties' activities. The tribunal is established under the Political Parties Act and falls under the judiciary. The tribunal is authorized to hear and determine disputes between members of a political party and/or disputes between a member of a political party and a political party. It can also decide on disputes between political parties and/or coalition partners. The tribunal can also adjudicate on disputes between an independent candidate and a political party.
We also have a mandate to hear appeals from decisions made by the political parties, the registrar of political parties.
Since the end of party primaries last week, dissatisfied aspirants have jammed offices of major political parties to complain about the process which they claim was not free and fair. Some have even moved to the High Court and filed petitions with the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal seeking to overturn results from the party primaries.
Under our Act, there is a proviso to Section 40, subsection 1 that says that before a party comes before the tribunal, they must try to exhaust the internal party dispute resolution mechanisms so that they are not coming to us as a matter of first instance. They are coming to us after having tried and tested their own party processes. But you know the kind of political parties we have, they tend to be rigid and regimental in the way they approach things. And particularly where you have semblance of a preferred candidate or something like that, the tribunal may not quite do justice to that individual.
Much as individual political parties have their own internal mechanism of resolving disputes in respect to primaries, the final arbiter within the entire process is the Political Parties Tribunal. And the Political Parties Tribunal has an obligation to review it from a more independent and impartial approach.
This week, the tribunal nullified the Party of National Unity primaries in Embu County. It also stopped ODM from declaring Kisumu Senator Professor Anyang' Nyong'o as the winner in the Kisumu County gubernatorial race. We also saw the tribunal direct Wiper Party to issue the Changamwe parliamentary nomination certificate to Peter Mitau. But then, can political parties defy these rulings?
We have cases where parties have come before us and attempted to defy our orders. And like I told you, we are in the nature of a court, so that is called contempt of court. We are also working closely with the IEBC. Any decisions that we make here will be transmitted to the IEBC, and provided that they have not been challenged and set aside by the High Court, the IEBC, with whom we have a memorandum of understanding on these matters, is bound to implement those decisions. So anybody who comes here and thinks that they can get away with impunity is cheating themselves.
If parties defy the ruling, then they'll meet the full sanction of the law. The Political Parties Tribunal has mechanisms to enforce its decision. They can find whoever is in disobedience in contempt of court, and they can impose sanctions on the party.
The Constitution allows alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Faced with strict timelines, leaders of major political parties might as well find it prudent to use that approach or risk not fielding candidates in wards and constituencies where aspirants are still wrangling.
Notwithstanding what the tribunal will have ruled, in the